Good evening, guys. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. This is your Leicester preview. 2 wins back to back for Manchester United, starting to gain a little bit of momentum. So let's hope that continues, as well as the momentum towards the owners of the club as well. We will always be Glazers out, so that message stands. In regards to the show today, we've got lots of stuff to discuss on and off the pitch. But before we dive into that, make sure you please subscribe to the channel. We're 11 off 500, and I'm going to whip this bad boy open as soon as we hit that. So if you can help us achieve that goal, everyone here would be really grateful. We set a target of 500 subs by the end of August, and like I said, we need 11 to hit that. So yeah, please help us do that. Of course, today I am joined by the lads Severe, Sam, and Shreyas. First and foremost, how you doing, Sam? Mike.
I'm good. Adam's in the chat saying, "Where's the good-looking Irish bloke?" We don't have one, so God knows.
Yeah, we've got an Irish bloke.
Yeah, we've got an Irish guy. I wouldn't say he's good-looking. But, yeah, I'm good, mate. Stressful day at work, but we're here. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Should be good. Yeah, all good.
Good stuff. And we've also got Severe back on the show. Excited for the 2 games this week, Severe?
Yes, for tomorrow. No for Arsenal.
I can't wait for that preview, and I can't wait for that game.
That's always the game I always dread every season.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get the 3 points. It's a nice bit of pleasure before the potential pain on Sunday. Let's see what happens with that. Finally, we've got the return of Shreyas. I'm sure his fan club in the comment section are absolutely buzzing.
Already started. They've already started.
Yeah, it's already started. How you doing, Shreyas? You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you doing, Nick?
I am busy, happy, but when I'm busy, I'm happy. So, yeah. What are you laughing at, Sam? What?
It's just become a bit between me and Shreyas now. Like, I refuse to ask you how you are, and then Shreyas every time will ask.
Yeah, thanks, Shreyas. Thanks for asking. Before we get into the start of the show, very quickly, I want to discuss the James Garner situation. He is heading to Everton for £15 million, and I want to discuss his story in particular because, as a club, I just think it goes absolutely against everything we stand for, and they've tried doing it, or they've sold him, sorry, to try balance the books. A young prospect who seems very talented. Doesn't make sense at all. Who wants to throw their opinion in on this one? Because I could tell by the way we was all chatting about it in the WhatsApp that no one was happy about it, were they, if we're honest?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. This academy prospect hasn't had an opportunity in the first team yet. You've got a player like Scott McTominay who's had multiple opportunities, hasn't taken them, could be sold for a decent wage, probably get more for him, to be honest, than you would do for James Garner. So that balance the books, gets rid of a player that's had his opportunity, keep James Garner, and then you give him opportunities throughout the season. Got loads of games in Europa Leagues, long season, cup games and stuff. He'd get games, he'd get game time. So I don't understand why we'd sell him, especially for the price we sold him for 14 million, whatever it is. Stupid decision. I hope there's a buyback clause in there, or there's a first refusal or something. I hope there's something in there that if he does turn out well and he starts like proving the ability that we think he has, that we can go back in and get him back, because it's a stupid decision, and it's definitely a Glazer decision. It's not a footballing decision.
Yeah, absolutely. I second that 100%. Severe, can you make any sense of this? Why Ten Hag sanctioned this deal, or do you think it's more like Sam said there, the Glazers pushing it?
It doesn't make any sense to me. Absolutely not. Like I've tried to be objective and possibly find out what could, why he's been sold. But it just doesn't make any sense. Sell him on loan. Well, send him out on loan. Let him play first team football, and then we can sell him for even higher. Because I mean, if we have to sell him, 15 million, like that's ridiculous. Trust me, we'll be back for him in like 3 years and like pay like 50 mil, because like he's such an intelligent player. Like, and what really frustrates me is that he brings something different to the team. It's not, he's not just your box to box. He can play the 6, and then we have a manager who's really good at developing youth, and he could have just learned so much from Ten Hag, and we're sending him off. Like, it's one of our, it doesn't make any sense to me, and I wish there's a buyback clause, and this is gonna hurt us. Like this
Yeah.
This has put a downer. This has put a down on the transfer market because I think we've done quite well in the window for getting the players that we got. But this, why are we selling James Garner when we still have people like Phil Jones on the books? Like it makes no sense. Like it just means that our list of priorities are just completely out the window.
It's a weird one, isn't it, Shreyas? Because I was thinking myself, before we was kind of heading into this season, it's like, well, if Ten Hag doesn't think he's ready yet, maybe we can loan him out to a team in the Prem, let him have a year to develop in the Premier League, and then he might be ready to kind of integrate into the squad. What do you think the reason is that he sold him? Like I just said to Survey, then do you think it's the Glazers? Do you think it's Ten Hag? Like what's gone on here? Because obviously we can't sell the players that we wanted to. Like you mentioned them with Phil Jones and stuff, because of the wages that they're on are absolutely ridiculous. So no club wants to bring in someone like they'll buy Phil Jones and so he's on 125k. Like can you make sense of it?
I think if you assess our squad, of course, the players that we want to sell are on such ridiculous wages that we can't really offload them unless they go on a free. And except that, I think with Garner, the thing is he's the only sellable option because he's actually really, really talented. He's actually really good. He pretty much, he was one of the biggest reasons why Nottingham got promoted last season to the Premier League. And teams like Everton, I'm glad that Spurs aren't getting him, because I think Conte would have absolutely taken him to a whole new level, which is good so I'm happy he's not going to Spurs. But I would say even if he's going to Everton, whatever club he goes to, I think he'll have a really, really, he'll have a really good impact because he's very young. I think he's really, really talented. He's got the ability to be a soul holding a midfielder in a trio or even a 4-4-2 like we've seen Everton play at times. They struggle because they don't really have someone who has that defensive composure in there. So for them it's a really good signing, I would say. And for signing someone with such an immense potential, coming off a really, really good season in the Championship for 15 million, I mean it's for them it's
ridiculous,
an absolute no-brainer of a signing, I would say. But
Jed Spence, how much did Tottenham buy him?
10 mil,
I think
it was.
Was it 10?
Yeah.
But I just feel like if we was to go buy him off Forest, if this was a player who was coming up in the Championship and we went to buy him, 30 mil.
Easily.
Least.
And you also mentioned it beforehand that players like Anthony Gordon are being, mentioned for about 59 to 69 million. I mean, that's the price of, someone like him who pretty much had a good season after Lampard came in. And even that wasn't, as stunning as what Garner did with Nottingham Forest. I think even if we had to sell him, we could have easily sold him for about 35 to 40 million. Easily, we could have sold him for that amount of money. And secondly, I think one of the biggest issues would be we only have a sell-on clause in his contract. We don't really have a buyback clause on his contract. So if we do go in for him after a couple of seasons, which we've seen happen with Casido, we wanted to go in for him, could have gotten him for 2 million. Now in this window, when we decided to go for him, Brighton slapped a 50 million price on him. And I believe that something similar might happen with Garner.
We just never fucking learned, do we? Honestly, we're poor at negotiating deals and we're poor at selling players. We have been for a long while now.
Do you understand? And then we're run by bankers. Like you would expect them to,
And
they're not even good bankers.
They can't even get good money.
The market makes 0 sense. Like Yves Bissouma is going for 25 mil from Brighton to Spurs, and then Wesley Fofana is going for 70 million from Leicester to James Garner's got I don't get it at all. I don't understand this market.
And let's be honest, Anthony for 100 mil as well is excessive. I know he's a very good player, but I think he's a 50-60 mil player at least. But the market's mental at the minute, and we're mental when it comes to negotiating.
There's a couple of comments on James Garner. JD, horrible about James Garner. So much potential, is rubbish to get rid of on that team. I thought the Glazers were businessmen. Then why did he buy high and sell low? Yeah, good point. Adam, I read that we have a sell-on clause. Surely there's somewhat of a buyback clause if we sign him again. I hope so. Shania, no sense selling Garner. He could have been a serious talent. Yeah, people are upset in the chat. Not happy with it at all.
Yeah, and I think that's most of the fan base, to be honest. I don't want to speak for everyone, but a lot of people were upset with that news. And I think it might come back to bite us when we see him as a regular and an established player in a Premier League team. But let's move on to the preview, lads. I've got a bit of a surprise. Usually I start with a bit of a brain teaser, but I thought I'd switch it up a bit. So I know Sam will be absolutely gutted about that. Do you guys remember the big season preview we did?
Yes.
When we made some
Yeah.
predictions. It was
Yeah.
actually us four on that show.
Yeah.
So what I thought I'd do is we'd go back to them because we did the first 5 games. I know we haven't played Leicester yet, and see if you could remember who you predicted and what the point total was. So with that in mind, do you remember how many points you said, Sam, from the first 5 games?
I think I said 11, didn't I?
Yeah. You said. Do you remember the games as well? you
I
said?
think I said draw against Brentford. I think I said. Oh, was it a draw against Brighton? I think I said we beat
Your
Brentford.
memory's fucking incredible. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
I think we'd beat I think we'd beat Brentford. We'd lose heavily to Liverpool. Did I say we'd lose to Leicester or draw
No,
to Leicester?
you said beat Liverpool.
This,
You said you'd win. Yeah.
I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause
because
we
I
was-
went, yeah.
Is Sam being positive? What's
yeah.
going
oh,
on
yeah,
here?
Yeah. And did I say we'd lose or draw to Leicester?
Beat Leicester, but draw against Southampton.
Yeah.
You said so. That was
Yeah.
11 points.
I had the most.
Um,
I had the most points, didn't I, out of everybody?
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Severe, can you remember yourself?
Did I say 7 or 9?
10 points. But can
So
you
10.
remember what you
Yeah,
said?
I
for the
think
results?
I thought we would win the first 2.
Yep.
Did I? Yeah, we'd win the first 2, lose to Liverpool.
Mhm.
That went well, didn't it, Severe?
Just flip it.
Yeah.
You got it right.
Win, yeah, and then win Leicester and draw Arsenal.
Yeah. Absolutely spot on that. Fucking hell, your
Yours,
memory's
yeah.
even better. Jesus.
No, I'm just using common sense.
Shreyas, actually, when I went to watch the clip back, you didn't say specifically what results would thing get. You may have done earlier on the show, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But you did say 11 points. Can you remember what you predicted for the first 5?
Win against Brighton. Win against Brentford. Loss against Liverpool. Draw against Southampton. And win against Leicester.
Okay. And if we beat Leicester tomorrow, it'd be 9 points, won't it, from the first 5 games? Because obviously
Yeah.
we beat Liverpool and we beat
Yeah.
Southampton as well. I think I said Brighton draw, beat Brentford, lose to Liverpool, beat Southampton and draw with Leicester. So I was way off in that, but my point total will be as similar because I predicted 8 points, which is the lowest, which is actually surprised at. Can you remember top 4 predictions, what you said? Obviously, it's not concluded yet. But
Yeah.
I just want to, kind of gauge where we're at the start of the season. Obviously,
think-
4 or 5 games in.
I think I fucked mine up because I said Chelsea, didn't I? And that's not going well at all. That's not going well. Chelsea are
Southampton
just
beating them last night.
Chelsea are getting slapped left, right, and centre, aren't they? And Timo Werner's laughing his way in Leipzig,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah.
City and Liverpool's not gone well either. To be honest with you, I put Liverpool
No.
second. They're not
Yeah.
going well either.
But this is the Premier League. This
Yeah.
is what I mean. It's so hard to predict
I think
at times.
I've got City and Spurs on because they're both in the thing, and then I think Sevilla's done well with Arsenal because also Arsenal are doing quite well as well. So
Yeah, you said City to win it, Liverpool, Spurs, and Chelsea.
yeah,
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Sevilla, you remember?
Yeah, I think I said Liverpool and City for
Yeah,
top
either
2.
one.
Either
Mhm.
one. Tottenham and Arsenal, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
like
And-
Arsenal started ridiculously strong, haven't they?
Yeah, and then I said Chelsea and us would struggle, but
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, you weren't, half wrong. You know what I mean? Treyas, you had a surprise prediction.
Oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this.
Can
It's
you
gone. It's gone well. That had it, Shirayas. It's gone well, that prediction.
I mean, it's a Premier League. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you remember yours, Treyas?
Yeah. City, Liverpool, Spurs, and West Ham.
Absolutely spot on. I have to say Sevilla is probably the closest there as
Yeah.
it stands, but we're 4 or 5 games in, aren't we? So it's a long, long road.
yeah,
Marathon.
it's literally
Yeah.
You can't tell. Like,
Arsenal
Chelsea-
choke every season. They get
Yeah.
towards the end of the season, they fall apart. After-
Sam is absolutely adamant that Arsenal will choke. He's
They
been
will.
saying it
I
since
promise
the
you.
start.
Clip this. Clip this up. Show you the end of
Alright.
the season.
I mean,
Oh,
if
you
Arsenal
seen-
perform the way they do, if they choke the way they do, I think Arteta could be out of the door.
Good.
The way the
All
trajectory
right,
goes.
I'm all right with
No,
that.
there's a difference. There's a difference with Arsenal this season. Like they, apart from them playing well, they look like they have some belief. This is the difference. Like before, like they didn't have that look. They didn't look like they believed in themselves. But now, when I watched, because I watched 2 of their games, I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, like these guys really believe like
Yeah.
they can do it. But
Yeah,
I think squad depth would be their Achilles heel. They would suffer from injuries. And then once Jesus is out, I don't think Eddie Nketiah is like up to replace him. So it's just down to squad depth. If they can stay fit,
Yeah, they've got Europe this year
Oh.
though. They haven't got Europe. They didn't have Europe
Yeah.
last time, did they? So that'll
Yeah.
cost
No,
them.
they didn't.
That's what's
Yeah,
going to
so-
catch up with them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have to agree with that 100%. Let's bring it back to the game tomorrow night then.
Sure.
Play Leicester City away, who've been in terrible form so far. Massive dark cloud looms over Brendan Rodgers at the minute. Could he be next to be sacked after Scott Parker? Recruitment at the club is non-existent and performances on the pitch have been subpar. They've been terrible. On a positive note for Leicester, though, they have actually got the better of us in previous games. If you cast your minds back to last season at Old Trafford in that 1-1 draw.
was
if you remember it,
horrific.
the most,
Yeah.
oh my
Horrific
god, the
game.
most boring game I think I've ever fucking watched. It was dreadful, absolutely dreadful. And then we played him at the King Power when Ollie was in charge, which is actually one of the fixtures in the build-up to him getting sacked. We lost 4-2
Yeah.
in that game.
Yeah.
We actually haven't beat him, lads, since 2020. In the last 5 games, we drew 2 and lost 3. So they have the advantage in that sense when it comes to the head-to-head. Bring it back to current form this season. Both teams started off really bad. Leicester are currently, like I said, bottom of the table with 1 point. They've lost against the likes of Chelsea, Southampton, Arsenal, and scraped a draw against Brentford. Whereas we've started to come out of that dark cloud now with wins over Liverpool and Southampton, which swings some positivity back into our corner. Sam, just focusing on the opposition for a minute. Where do you think it's gone wrong for Leicester? Because they finished, I think it was 8th last season, behind us and West Ham. They've got a core of squad players, at least individually, who are really talented. You know, we've spoken before on this channel before. We're fans of Tillemans, Vardy's, and Didis.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? What sticks out? You know, why they're not performing?
I think the first thing is they've not freshened the squad up. They've not bought anybody in.
Yeah.
That they haven't. They're one of the only teams who've not bought somebody in and freshened that squad up. But like, I think regardless of how good you are or the talent you have, I think you have to sort of bring in at least 1 or 2 players just to sort of keep the squad ticking over, keep people who might be getting a bit comfortable in the positions on the toes, competition. So I think that's one thing. They've not brought him in, and then they've just sold a really exciting prospect in Wesley Fofana as well, who's supposedly touted to be a very good defender. So they've just sold him. Obviously, they got profit on him because Leicester always do. But are they going to reinvest that with 2 days to go in the window? It's very unlikely, I think, if they haven't spent by now. Tillemans wants out the door. Just nobody's coming for him, which is a bit strange. Arsenal have been rumoured, but nothing's happened so far. So he wants to leave. They're relying on Jamie Vardy and is thingy still there? Iheanacho still there? Or is he gone?
Iheanacho's still there, yeah. Iheanacho's still there.
So they're relying on Vardy and Iheanacho to score the goals. Maddison is hit and miss. Sometimes he's great, other times just goes missing. So yeah, I think this squad's it's full of holes, and there's not been no fresh sort of people brought in. So I think that's a massive factor. The other factor is I don't rate Brendan Rodgers as a coach. I don't think he's any good at all. It really, really annoyed me when we were being linked with him, and the fact that he was getting touted. I was like, please don't do that. He got found out at Liverpool. He went to Celtic in a 1-team league and he won everything. But anybody who goes to Celtic wins everything because the only other team you got is Rangers. So I think it's a combination of the coach who's gone a bit stale and then the lack of investment in the squad and the fresh faces. I think that's the 2 sort of major factors that just brought, like you said, this black cloud over it in a minute.
Yeah.
I think signings would have sort of lifted him up a little bit, but it's not happened.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, to be honest. Surveyor, I want to bring you in on this and ask your opinion on Brendan Rodgers as like a separate thing. But their talisman, Jamie Vardy, who we were speaking about before we came live, one of the most dangerous strikers in the league for the past 7 years, he still hasn't managed to get a goal this season. Do you think we're finally seeing the decline of Jamie Vardy? And another question on top of that, so you've got 3. Is there anyone you would take from Leicester right now? Maybe not an obvious pick.
Right. So I'll start with the Brendan Rodgers question. Um, I think Brendan Rodgers is just probably in decline. I think. The thing about Leicester is I think they're just so unimaginative at the moment. Like there's nothing. Everybody knows what to expect from them, and the fact that they haven't got any new players in, it just leaves. There's nothing refreshing about them. It's not like they have a really good manager like Graham Potter, who Brighton haven't bought anyone, but the system that they play allows them to utilize all their strengths, and they play as a team. Whereas Leicester, and then to be fair to Leicester as well, they've had some injury problems. Tillemans has not always been fit. Maddison had his little injury issues as well. Jamie Vardy had his injury issues as well. So this brings me to the Jamie Vardy question now. The older you get in football, I know sports science and with the way the game has developed, players, you have the longevity is a lot, it's a lot longer. But I think the injuries are starting to catch up with him. Also, Jamie Vardy also is a slow starter as well. There's seasons where he's actually started slow and then picked up. And I remember this clearly because, anyone who plays fantasy football, FPL fantasy football would be like, I've tried to buy him a few times and then I didn't. And then towards the end, he just started, scoring goals. So I think it's one of those things. I wouldn't necessarily write him off. I just think it's a fitness issue. I think he'll pick up, but by then, I think it might be too late for Leicester. And they might just end up being mid-table. And there was one more question. Who would I get from them?
Yeah, from Leicester, who would you take right now?
Ooh. Right now, for our squad, I might take either Pereira, the right back, because we need a right back, and he's really good going forward.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would take him or James Maddison, because when Maddison is on it, he's on it. So
It's
yeah,
United,
that's the thing about him.
United fan as well.
And he's a United fan. He literally begged us to buy him.
Yeah.
When we linked to him, he was literally like, yeah.
Didn't he tweet a picture of Old Trafford or something?
Yeah.
On his thing.
Yeah.
There was some, and I think his brother tweeted something, and he was like, fingers crossed. And that's the kind of player I want, like a player that wants to come and prove himself. But yeah, it'll be one of those two, either Maddison or Pereira to fit the squad. I don't know who plays left back for them.
Castagna for Leicester, innit?
Castagna,
yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Pereira.
Yeah, I like that shout. Smash them 3 questions out the park. I like it. And Maddison, as you said, is a great midfielder. Speaking of midfielders, Shreyas, we had a glimpse of Casemiro in the last parts of the Southampton game. What are you expecting from him tomorrow if he starts?
I think more stability, and I would say at least for the first time against Leicester, we win the midfield battle. Because I think just having Casemiro as a CDM, I think he has it in his capability to fend off Tillemans or Maddison or whoever comes up against him. He offers the defense. He is defensively sound, and he is physically competent enough to actually deal with pressure as well. Because we've seen McTominay, even though he has the height and the physicality, he isn't able to when he gets pressured, he just collapses. So with Casemiro, I think it would be much more fluid in the midfield because we'll see much more passing. We'll see Eriksen probably having one of his best games tomorrow, because I think up until now with either of Fred or McTominay, Eriksen has been pulled back a bit. I think he has to be, whenever he's been trying to, actually move forward, he's looked good. He's looked really, really good. He's been stringing passes. He's been one of our most creative and consistent players. But he has to track back immediately after releasing that ball, because he knows that if he doesn't track back, McTominay can't fend off with a, counter attack on his own. So I think with Casemiro, Eriksen could be seen more going forward. We could be seeing much, much better performances from our fullbacks, I would say, as well, because when the fullbacks bomb forward, the CDM would be able to finally, complement them while they're attacking, might be able to play quick 1-2s and move forward, especially I would say Dalot, because Dalot pretty much just offers us, attacks and, just his offensive side. when it comes to his defense, he's a bit vulnerable. So I think for Dalot, it would be really, really important for Casemiro to play. But yes, otherwise, I think a much more fluid midfield with better defensive stability and I would say much fluid passing would something that we could expect with Casemiro.
Yeah, hopefully will be the cement between the stones as Ten Hag described it.
You love that phrase, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I love it because I think it's just perfect. So yeah, hopefully that happens. Before I dive into Leicester's kind of style of play, strengths and weaknesses, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like the video. We're on 490 now, so we need 10 more subs before we hit the big 500. I break the whiskey out and we all have a party. So make it happen, please, guys, if you can. Yeah, looking at Leicester's style of play, lads. Sam's favourite manager sets Leicester up in a 4-2-3-1. Yeah. Tillemans, Ndidi in the pivot, Maddison in the 10, rotational wingers, and obviously they have the talisman up top, Jamie Vardy. They have played a 4-1-4-1 system before, and they've also played a back five, so it shows the tactical flexibility. And they are a possession-based team who can mix it up with creative passes in behind when it gets a bit too congested in the middle with the likes of Yuri Tillemans in the midfield. Defensively, they haven't been great. They've conceded 10 goals in 4 games, which is almost an average of 3 goals a game. The centre-backs, Evans and Amati, are not in the best form, and they've just lost the best centre-back in Wesley Fofana, which obviously is a massive blow to them. Although the usual threat, Vardy hasn't scored this season, you think, someone of his kind of stature would be looking at this game, licking his lips with the high line we play at times and thinking, there's going to be some opportunities in this game for me to finally get on the score sheet. So keep an eye out for Jamie Vardy. With that in mind, Sam, are you feeling positive going into this one? And how much are you looking forward to the prospect of Lisandro Martinez versus Vardy? The shithousery, you know what I mean? House of Dragons.
There's some memes getting made tomorrow, isn't there, after this game? Just a couple of comments and I'll answer your question. Shania, I think Newcastle will be dark horses for this season, not for top 4, but top 8. Adam, I'm not reading that comment because it'll break Nick, so I'm not doing it.
Thank you.
Just have a look in the chat if you want to see it.
No, not doing it.
Kerwin Nixon, please no Maguire tomorrow. I don't think he will, mate. I think you'll be all right. Dan Raj, though, however, thinks Maguire and McTominay will start the game tomorrow with save players for Arsenal. Vardy has been pocketing Maguire for years. No way he'd be worried if he's on the pitch. So a lot of people don't want Maguire playing tomorrow. What was the question?
Eric Bailly used to be Jamie Vardy's match.
He did, yeah.
He batted him up. He batted him up the last time. Yeah.
I do remember that.
Batted him up,
Yeah, batted him up last time. Do you remember, they had this tussle? Like Bailly chased him, then they roll out, and then Vardy's turn and Bailly just bumps into him the way Lisandro bumped into Salah last time. He was batted up. But anyway.
Yeah, what was the question, Nick? Sorry, I got distracted.
Are you looking forward to the prospects of Lisandro versus Jamie Vardy, and are you feeling positive going into the game?
Yeah, I think the Liverpool game sort of floated us all, didn't it, to the surface of that fucking absolute crash at the beginning. Yeah, the crash at the beginning of the season. The Southampton game, it wasn't fantastic watch, as you saw in the watch along with me and Shreyas. We were fucking struggling to talk about anything other than the game that was going on. But we got the win. We grinded out a win. We got the 3 points, and that's important because I think there's faith there in that team that even if we play badly, we can still get a result. I think that's going to be important going forward because we're going to have bad performances because the manager's brand new, still working his system out, still getting the players integrated. So we're going to have bad performances, but if we can still grind out results, I'll happily take it. I'll happily take a bad performance if we get the 3 points. So yeah, I'm positive about it. I think Leicester are in poor form. I think it's a great time to play, and like you said, defensively they've been wide open. So I think whoever's up front, I don't believe Anthony's registered, is he, in time for his visa? Nope. So
no, it's
probably going to be Sancho, Elanga, Rashford, I imagine. So I think they can have a good time against that defence. Hopefully score some goals. Lisandro Martinez, he's already my favourite player. I fucking love him. He's my new god in my worshipping of Leacher, the religion of Leacher. Yeah. He's ridiculously good. He won me over with the stuff he was saying beforehand, and then Liverpool game, he cemented that place. He's my favourite player at the minute. Just the absolute shithousery, the shoulder bumps, the shouting at players, when we won afterwards, and he's just absolutely beat the shit out of the pitch. Yeah, fantastic. And then he put in another man in the match performance against Southampton, get next to Varane and Malacia, put in another fantastic performance. But he's not gonna work out in the Premier League because he's 5'9" apparently, and Graham Souness is not letting that shit go, is he? Anytime soon. I think I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I think I called it earlier in the season that I think Lisandro Martinez is going to be our player of the season. I think he's going to be that sort of player for us.
Yeah, you're always going to get agendas driven against United players. It happens every single fucking season. I'm not sure if any of you have seen the thing that came out with Lisandro about the director, the conversation he had with him.
Yeah.
And he said,
"You're fucking
he said,
nobody."
You're only here because Overmars has left. And then the next day he's transferred. Like, the guy's an absolute.
Called him. He said, "You're a fucking nobody," didn't he?
Yeah. I'm here for it. You can tell he's extremely passionate, and it's probably contagious in the team, innit? So I'm definitely here for Lisandro, and I think he's going to have a great season. Survey, two players you admire in Anthony Martial and our new signing Antony, who won't be available for this game due to, Martial due to injury and Antony due to visa issues, I think it is. How do you see this front three lining up? Because I said in a video the other day, Rashford should have been on that Most Started channel because he was a fucking ghost against Southampton. He was non-existent. He had no impact on the game whatsoever, in my personal opinion. So do you think he'll switch up? And what would your preference be for the front three?
Even if he wants to switch it up, he doesn't have a choice. Those are the only fit players that we have, well, apart from Ronaldo, unless he brings in Ronaldo.
Yeah.
But I think he might go with the same Elanga, Sancho, and Rashford, which is so underwhelming. I know they did well against Liverpool because they had to rise
behind.
Yeah, they had to rise to the occasion, the spacing behind, and all that. But just seeing that is so underwhelming. Like, I can't wait for Anthony to sign, and then so we don't have to see that because he will bring a lift, so we don't have to see Elanga all the time.
I feel bad, like, because I like Elanga as a person, but he's just it's too. He should have gone out on loan this season. Like, if we had the squad depth, he should have gone out on loan, first team, learn his trade, maybe in the Championship, something like that. He should have been out on loan, learning his trade. And we haven't got the squad depth to do it. That's why he's playing. If we had the squad depth, he wouldn't be playing.
Yeah. He probably has one of the best work ethics in the team.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Elanga, like he's constantly on it. I see him all the time. He's like in the gym all the time. But in 2022, Manchester United should not be starting a football match with Anthony Elanga as a starter. Like it does. I mean, look at all our rivals. Like, he's nowhere near that level.
No.
And so I'm not saying, I'd love for him to play, I'd love for him to go on loan, I'd love for him to play Europa League or whatever, but he should not be starting a Premier League match when we need points. And I hope this is probably one of the last times, because he's all right, but then, there were times when some of his decision making was a bit, I think he will go for the same the same top three that we've seen all season. But I actually hope he brings Ronaldo in. I don't know why. I just want to see a convincing top three. I want someone who intimidates the defenders, because no one's going to be scared of Elanga, no matter how good he's been recently. No one's going to be people to be.
It's very one-dimensional, Elanga, in it for me. You know what you're going to get from him. Same with Rashford as well.
Yeah, Leicester's defense is on their knees at the moment, so why not bring an intimidating figure, come in and do something?
Be the perfect game. It'd be the perfect game for Anthony, wouldn't it? If we could have got him registered, it'd been absolute on a plate for him. Like, this guy who just scares full backs at left, right, and centre in the Eredivisie would have been perfect. But
So
I think that's it.
Do we see a front three? Do we think in, let's say, a few weeks' time, if we make a prediction, we'll just say Anthony, Ronaldo, and Sancho? Do you think that's the way we're going to go?
I think so. And the reason why I'll go Ronaldo is because, like I said in the chat, if you watch a lot of Anthony's highlights, he's not just a showboat dribbling type of person. He puts crosses in, lots of crosses.
Despite what the memes say.
Yeah, exactly.
He did it for Haller. He did it for Haller, did he? Like,
I was just about to say that. Yeah. So Haller and Anthony literally together just destroyed Dortmund in the Champions League. I think it was the first leg.
Yeah.
And it was just both of them just worrying. And it was just Anthony just putting in those crosses. And Haller would get to the end of them, or it was, a couple of other people would get. And then he switched to the left in the first half. He switched to the left and was sending them in again. So it's just perfect for Ronaldo. Even if Ronaldo doesn't do anything, doesn't press us, it's just perfect because Ronaldo just eat those all day.
Well, that brings me on to my next question, actually, Shreyas. I've got a couple of questions there for you. Do you think now Ronaldo may be slightly changing his mind because he's seen the signings that come in? Obviously, Casemiro is a massive signing. He's played with him before at Madrid. And then Anthony as well, who's going to put crosses into the box for him. So he's going to get fed chances from both sides with Sancho and Anthony there. And do you think if he starts tomorrow, then he'll be our starter at least until the next transfer window, like our main number 9?
Yeah, I think with the system Ten Hag is playing and the kind of striker profile he actually wants, Ronaldo would work well. Ronaldo can, I mean, if you provide Ronaldo service, he is going to score your goals. There's never a question about Ronaldo not scoring goals for you when you actually, provide him with 10 to 15 chances per game. He is going to get you loads of goals if you actually, are able to provide him with the service. I think, yes, if he does feature tomorrow, I do see him staying. Because I think the only reason Ten Hag right now wasn't playing him, the reason why he was benched these the last 2 games is because, there is still a big uncertainty about him staying or not. And it makes sense why a manager wouldn't, want to pick someone of a profile of Ronaldo into a team when he might be leaving in a couple of weeks. So it does make sense as to why he didn't pick him. But once again, I think if he is going to feature tomorrow, then I do believe that he's going to stay because transfer deadline day is pretty much, around the corner. If he is, yeah, it's getting there. So
I'm getting
a lot
whiskey. I'm getting whiskey.
Hey, save that for another show. We'll discuss that when it finishes, when the deadline's done, and it goes.
I want. Do you know when they do the contract signing? They stood there shaking hands in front. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want you handling the whiskey over, and we're shaking hands.
Okay.
I want a photo. I want the whole
outside Old Trafford.
Yeah, this. Yes. Whole shebang. I want all of it. I want all of that.
Yeah.
Do you want to provide some context for the people watching?
Yeah, people are like, what the fuck is he talking about? So basically, me and Sam had a little wager on the De Jong saying, I think he will sign. If he does sign, Sam owes me a bottle of whiskey. If he doesn't sign, I owe Sam a bottle of whiskey. But there's still time left. Don't worry, guys. Don't panic. No panic stations. We'll see what happens when it finishes. But I'm happy to take a picture outside Old Trafford, handing you over the whiskey, or vice versa. Sorry, Shreyas. Did you finish your point?
Yeah, I'm just saying that with transfer deadline day coming around, and I think if he plays in the Leicester game, it's going to be certain that he's staying. Because if he doesn't play, then it would be a situation where you would say that he's leaving. Because I would say after the Leicester game, how many hours would be left for the window to close? I think about a few hours, I would say. Like
Thursday night, innit? 11 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Exactly.
8 o'clock. Yes, 8 o'clock kickoff.
So by the time the game finishes, it'll be literally an hour left. That's why I'm saying if he starts, then
I would say even if he's on the bench, if he's on the bench, it would make sense that he's staying. Because it wouldn't make sense for him to actually even be there if he's leaving, considering deadline is almost around. But yes, I think tomorrow, with the way things are coming out, I think that Ronaldo is going to stay. Especially, I think with the signing of Antony, it is good for him as well. Because with Rashford, something that didn't happen was Jadon Sancho used to be featuring on the right sometimes. Jadon Sancho used to be featuring off the left sometimes, which overall tend to hurt Dalot a lot. Because Dalot needs someone who can complement him while attacking, and we've seen Rashford ignoring the fullbacks whenever he's been playing with them. So yes, I think with Antony, the fullbacks will have a much better game. I think Dalot will have a much better partnership going forward, and a much stable partnership. I would say we'll finally be looking at cemented positions for players like this player is going to play left wing, this player is going to play as a right winger, this player is going to be a CDM for the next couple of years. I think that's the kind of system that would evolve at the club. And yes, I think with Antony and Sancho, especially against games like teams like Leicester, like we saw against Southampton as well, the goal we scored actually came off a cross. And in that entire game, the biggest thing that we actually missed out on was aerial threats. There
yeah.
were a lot of opportunities for us
Yeah.
to put crosses in. We saw Eriksen actually, putting a lot of crosses in, but
Shreyas,
Bruno doesn't have the capability.
how many
Yeah.
times were we just going, just cross the ball?
Yeah.
For the love of God, just
And-
cross the ball.
And I still remember Sam was just, he saw Eriksen, he was on the touchline, and he just, went for a through ball rather than crossing it in. And it was just because, Rashford doesn't have the heading ability. Bruno definitely doesn't have the heading ability. And even when the crosses came in, Bruno was like a couple of inches or a couple of yards behind the ball. So yes, I think if you put someone like Ronaldo into that area, he's going to score you goals because he's absolutely amazing in the air. So yes, I think teams against Southampton and Leicester, which tend to play an organized system at the back, don't really leave spaces behind for you. I think that's the sort of game Ronaldo actually would be really, really helpful with crosses from both Antony and Sancho.
I mean, you have to give Ten Hag credit. If you look over the past 3-4 years, however far back you want to go, and what have we been saying as fans, as United fans? We needed a DM, a specialist DM. Casemiro's here. A lot of people saying we need a left-footed centre back for balance. Lisandro Martinez come in, and we needed an out-and-out right winger who's going to put crosses into who we just signed, Antony. So he's getting the deals done, man. And most of the players that he's signed have hit the ground running. So I hope the same happens with Antony, and I'm excited to see him play on the weekend because I don't think he'll play tomorrow. I want to dive into some quick-fire questions as always with the preview. So the first one, will we keep a clean sheet tomorrow? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I think so. I think our defence is
It's a
pretty
Vardy
solid right
party.
now. I think because Southampton, even though we weren't in a great form, I thought our defence was solid. I thought we kept everything out. We did really, really well. I think they only had like maybe 1 or 2 massive opportunities. So I think it's good as long as we stick with the same lineup we had.
Yeah. Different challenge though, innit, with Vardy, because you're playing up against Shea having more of a physical kind of battle. Vardy, you're gonna be looking over your shoulder every 2 seconds. So
But I think that's why Varane and Lissandro are going to work well, because I think Varane will come in and cover him, and then Lissandro's going to bully him anytime there's on there's sort of trying to back up into the defenders. I think Lissandro's going to bully him.
That's a good point. Will we keep a clean sheet, do you think, Severe?
We have no idea.
No, this is why it's a quick fire, innit? Like,
Severe, it's called a prediction, mate.
Yes.
It's called a prediction.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
will Jamie? Oh, well, this counteracts me question. Will Jamie Vardy score? Because you all think we're going to get a clean sheet, so I'll skip that. Will Ronaldo score?
Yeah.
if he plays.
That's not the question, Sam.
I don't think he plays, so I'd say no. I don't think he plays.
Will Casemiro start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%, yeah?
Yeah.
Will we score more than one goal?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You seem so sure on that.
I'm not.
The
I'm really
confidence
not.
is
I'm really
something
not.
we'll win.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
But fuck it. Yeah.
Bro,
Okay.
it's because we don't know these guys. We don't know these. I don't know what to expect from
It's-
these
No,
yeah,
I don't. I
it is
don't.
hard to predict.
It's hard, man.
I know
Yeah.
what you
Yeah,
mean.
I'm looking at these guys like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, I
Yeah, we
don't
do have a bipolar team. I know what you mean. Will Harry Maguire or Luke Shaw start tomorrow?
God, I hope not.
No.
I hope not, but I suspect.
I think
of
one
them
will.
Yeah.
I think Luke Shaw will.
I suspect one
Yeah.
of them.
Oh God.
And
Please not.
with that being said, let's do our predicted 11s. As always, I'll go first, and then I'll ask you guys for your ones. So I'm going to go with De Gea, Dalot, Varane, Lisandro, and I think Luke Shaw comes into it because we've got Arsenal on Sunday. I think we need a lot of energy for that game. And obviously 2 games in the week is a busy schedule, so I think I'll bring Shaw in. I think Eriksen, Casemiro, and Fred will start. And I think Sancho, Ronaldo, and Rashford will play up top. Sam?
A couple of comments. I'll do mine quickly. Ugly Bear's in the chat. Shout out to Ugly Bear, regular viewer. Anthony
Yes, sir.
plays balls to Anthony, and Anthony plays delightful ball to Anthony, and Anthony buries the ball in the top corner. Games this season. It's a good point. He also says if Ronaldo definitely wants to leave, he should pay Man U 10 million to tear up his contract, and then only other teams will come in who are in the Champions League. He thinks Leicester will raise their game as well. The added pressure from the media. It'll be all guns blazing for them. Eric Ten Hag will have to prepare the team well. Agreed. We're on 492 subs as well. So 8 more and Nick will do a shot of whiskey. So let's get to 500 subs,
We can
please.
push that.
Yeah.
People who are watching right now, if you're not
Come on.
subscribed to the channel, just click that button in the bottom right corner and push us up to 500. Help us celebrate.
Aaron is also calling you out. Aaron's in the chat saying, why is Nick bringing negative energy, wishing Luke Shaw into starting 11?
Whoa. I didn't say wishing. I just think he'll be rotated. I'd rather have Malacia. But I just think,
Aaron's,
yeah.
That's Aaron's thing. Anyways, for me, I think it's going to be the same defensive lineup as Southampton. So De Gea, Dalot, Martinez, Varane, Malacia. I think Casemiro comes in. I think it's Casemiro, Fred, and Bruno. I don't think Eriksen plays. I think he might rest him for this game because he has played quite a lot of games in a lot of minutes. So, and then I think it's Elanga, Rashford, Sancho up top.
Okay, thank you for that. Shreyas?
Yeah, I think the same back four with De Gea, except that I think Casemiro could feature alongside Donny and Bruno. The only reason being why I would say Donny could come into this game is because with Leicester's midfield, we need more mobile midfielders, I would say. Someone who likes to move about a lot and has the technical ability to play the ball quite quickly. So I think Donny could be used in this game, considering we've got Arsenal coming up as well. Eriksen could be rested in... and I think with Donny, we could actually, be able to get almost to the same quality of, the play that actually Eriksen brings. Donny could bring that about as well, especially with Casemiro alongside him. I think that could be something exciting to see. Except that I think Rashford and Sancho play off the wings with Ronaldo starting.
I like that point you make about Casemiro coming in because he can unlock eights. We could see a completely different thing. You never know. So it's interesting dynamic that. So Veer, what about yourself? How do you see us lining up tomorrow night?
That's the same as Sam has said. Dalot, Varane, Martinez, Malacia.
Yep.
Casemiro, Fred, Bruno, Elanga, Rashford, and
Sancho.
Sancho, yeah.
So no.
Do you think we might see a Mac Miro at some point?
Mac Miro.
Miro. The thing is, with that, this is what I'm saying about unlocking. I've seen times where McTominay's performed as. I'm not saying he's going to come into the team, so before everyone starts fucking going, what you on about? You're talking shit, blah, blah, blah. Right, I'm just saying, I will give people a fresh slate with Casemiro coming in as the 6 and just seeing him as an 8. I don't mind doing that. Even Donny, Donny hasn't performed at the top level. But I don't mind him coming into the team. Donny, Bruno and Casemiro, let's say, for example. I'm open to it. Basically what I'm saying. Score predictions, guys. What do we think tomorrow? Again, it's a prediction. I know it's hard to tell, especially with Leicester at the minute as well and United.
Well, originally I thought 1-0 win, but I said multiple score. I said scoring 1-1, didn't I? So, 2-0, but I'm not confident about it. I think definitely 1-0 win, but 2-0 hopefully. I'd like to see 2. That'd be good.
I have to say it. I don't want to bring negative energy. I am worried about Vardy tomorrow. I know he hasn't scored this season, but when we play with a higher line at times, he's going to be sniffing around that and getting behind. I'm just worried about it. But,
Lewis Jackson is saying 3-1 United.
3-1 United. Yeah, I'd go with that probably. Yeah.
Definitely do that,
yeah.
But like Ugly Bear said in the comments that he thinks Leicester would raise their game up.
Yeah.
For this one, and I think that might be the case. I would have said 2-0, but I'm gonna go 2-1 to United.
Aaron says 3-0 in the chat.
3-0. Shreyas.
Yeah, I would say 3-0. The only reason being because I've said that Ronaldo would start.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've got a feeling about Ronaldo tomorrow. I don't know what it is. I think it'd be a massive statement if he does start, especially towards the back end of the window. And I also think
the biggest thing with him would be whenever he returns, he's gonna wanna make a statement because he's been out for a while. Lot of rumors and things have been going on about him. So yes, he's gonna wanna make an impact whenever he comes back.
Yeah, it's been a weird one, Ronaldo. I've been in 2 minds about it. I've been happy if he wants to leave, if we bring in a replacement.
Yeah, exactly.
But if he leaves now and we're left to,
because none of the none of the deals that have been going about, especially the one with Napoli, it doesn't make sense for us to
Yeah.
actually go about with it, because we get him for a loan, then we have to pay 100 million. It doesn't make sense. Absolutely
yeah.
doesn't make any sense altogether. So yes, I think he's gonna stay. There's no feasible options.
And if he, you know, if he's a starter for us, he scored 18 goals in the Prem last season in that dog shit team with no
Yeah,
creativity,
yeah.
anything like that in it. You know, we brought Casemiro in, Anthony on the right hand side, Eriksen's in there now. He will get provided more chances,
Yeah.
and sometimes, you know, might mean he scores more goals. Let's hope he does.
What's
So
yours,
yeah,
Nick?
that is the my what? Sorry.
Your
Score
score.
prediction. Shit. Yeah, I went with Lewis. I think 3-1. I think
Okay,
we'll get a good few goals because they're elite goals.
Ugly Bear says 3-1 or 2-1, he thinks. So
Yeah, less elite goals, man. So there's definitely be goals in it tomorrow, I think. Clip that up if it's a 0-0, a boring 0-0. But yeah, I think there's going to be goals. That is the preview complete, guys. Thank you for watching. The match is live tomorrow night, 8 o'clock kickoff. Me and Shreyas will be doing the watch along for that, so make sure you join us 45 minutes beforehand for the team lineup reaction. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well and like the video. Let's push them subs up. We're not hit 500 yet, but we're getting closer and closer. So anyone who's maybe not watching this live and watching it later on, please hit that subscribe button. Also, to keep up to date with everything surrounding Manchester United, make sure you follow us on social media. Check out our Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for a variety of things, news updates, clips, content schedules, the lot. All the links are at the bottom there, so just follow one of them. And Shreyas is weird Teddy. Thank you to everyone watching. Hope you're all pumped up for the game. Hopefully we make it with can't speak. Hopefully we make it 3 wins out of 3, pushing up that Premier League table. Let's see what happens. And Glazers out. Thank you for joining me, lads.
Frankie
see you
de
in the
Jong
next one.
ain't coming.
Oh, fuck off.
Peace.